As promised, the adventure has started. I got my buddy Eli here with me.
We're going to Wakulla Springs, where we will take an alligator boat and see alligators.
Are we hunting for the alligators?
No, we're not. Yes, we're hunting for alligators.
We're hunting for photos, right?
Yeah, we're hunting for photos.
Alright, we've got about a 45-minute drive, and we'll see y'all there.
And so
We've made it to Wakulla Springs. We have the Eli Vision cam on. It's going to be Eli's point of view for the adventure. So Eli, you're in charge. I'm going to turn it on. Yeah, it made noise. It's on.
So we're at Wakulla Springs.
Gotta talk louder.
So we're at Wakulla Springs today, and we're gonna go on the alligator thing around 12 something, and I'll catch you guys there later when we're like there. But now we're just walking around seeing the water, and over there you can see there's the jumping thing and the dock and the two-story jumping thing way over there. And so, and there's a bench to sit down on, and yeah. Okay. So this is the place, and there's the green monster over there.
This year, I've just been coming this year. I haven't tell Ashley, but I'm retired, so I kind of take the plunge. Several days.
And here's a green tank that has some in here, and there's a crab and some fish in there.
Have you been to the marina?
And there's some fish, people.
That's a mullet.
And there's some mullet, so yeah. Now what? We're filming. And there's the fish. And there's some fish over there too. A frog.
I didn't think snakes like this kind of cold water, right? Yeah, no. That's a bird.
There's a turtle. See the turtle?
There's a bird swimming under the water.
And so there's like fish over here, like this is, and it's like really clear and 6 degrees of water, and this place is really cool. Like, and right here is really clear.
Fish?
Yeah. And it's really clear where you could like see them now. But over there, as you guys could see, it was all green and you couldn't really see them. So it's really a good spot up here. Watch out for fish.
I'm gonna walk in the water. Come on, Eli.
So we're gonna put our feet in the water some. I mean, you might. The water's like 60 degrees. And I might get in the water and I might not, because I did bring extra clothes, but you know that sometimes and sometimes. Oh, And over there's where the thing is, if you guys can see. I'll let it focus.
Come on, show them, Eli.
I didn't get any.
See, that's why you don't leave your Crocs in four-wheel drive.
Okay. And so, oh gosh, it's cold. And so, as you guys can tell, it's like really cold here, but it isn't too cold. But it is very beautiful is the thing. And I'm not gonna get my wet today. And as you can tell, there's all kind of fish. And here's the spring actually where it comes out some at. And you can see where the line is right there. And so yeah, this is it. And I'm pulling up my swim trunks, not my swim trunks, but my shorts where I won't get wet because I'm short. So yeah. And you can tell there's a lot of fish. But later in the video, we're gonna go see alligators really later in the video. And yeah. Should I tell them about the fishing trip?
You can, yeah, tell them.
Tomorrow we're...
Fish coming in.
We have fish coming in. You see, I really...
See them?
This is Eli vision and I can't see them.
You can't see it right in front of you?
Hey viewers.
Stop moving, stop moving. Just stand still, stand still, stand still. They're gonna come in up to you.
Look, you can see them. They're right there, people. They're right there, viewers.
Okay, just don't move, don't move. No sudden movements. They're gonna come up to you.
And they're right there, guys. I should have a mic. But I don't know why I don't have a mic. I don't...
Hey, the best way to do it is to go over there and jump off the thing.
The little minnows are biting at your feet.
Not mine, no. Oh, I fell.
Yeah, sit here. They're gonna come in here. If we don't spook them, they're gonna come up. I think.
My question... Well, that's sad.
What?
2 years ago, they had a 3-story. That was 3 stories.
Oh.
2 years ago. And so, as you guys could tell, if you guys can see that no enter zone right there, like, yeah. And we're just like walking in the water. And we're doing all the fun stuff here. But later in the video, you're gonna see we're gonna go fishing tomorrow at 6. We're gonna wake up around 6:30. And we're gonna do a lot of fishing tomorrow. And if you guys can tell right there, that white thing sticking out is where the water comes out. And way over there, if you guys can see that, way over there, that's where the spring comes out too.
Let's check it out.
But you, oh, I'm not walking that far. You can only check it out in a boat. But they like will tell you. And when you're here, trust me, it's gonna be like really clean until when you get here. And so yeah, we're gonna like doing some fishing tomorrow, and trust me, we might catch stuff and we might upload it if we catch something. It should be a good fishing trip tomorrow. And so yeah. Okay, so like a few minutes ago, I showed you all around the water and walking in the water. And right here, you can like see all the good trees. You guys should come here one day because it is beautiful. And one time, like 2 years ago, when we get up here to this thing, it was the jumping thing. It was a 3-story 2 years ago, and now it's a 2-story. I think they changed that last year maybe. I really don't know because and the water's cold, but it's very fun, and it actually gets very deep. And I will be filming the alligators, and just maybe we might see alligator that comes right next to a boat, right next to the boat. We might see one maybe. There might be and not be. And so we're gonna like, oh look, oh, and beautiful trees. And there's that thing we went into. What's the sign say?
I'm just reading the sign.
Oh, okay. And like, we're coming up next to a sign, and I'll stop for you guys. And well, as you guys can see, it's you can like get them on Facebook and all that other stuff, and it tells you all like the rules and kayaking there, whatever that means, and all the stuff. I'll let you guys. And here's a certain kind of rock that you might can find. Limestone, he said. So yeah.
Limestone. It's the same thing they use to filter for bourbon.
Yeah, what he said.
Pretty cool.
Mhm. And as we're walking up on the sign, like I told you guys a few minutes ago, it used to be 3-story 2 years ago, but now it's a 2-story. I mean, and oh, and as you guys can see over there, there's one boat over there, and there's recycling. And we will go up to the top and show you guys. Maybe some of you guys that watch a country fried fishing, you might have came here before. Yeah.
Oh, look at the orb weaver.
Yeah.
Eli.
Huh?
See the big orb weaver spider?
Uh-huh. Oh, and there's an orb leader spider.
Orb weaver.
Orb leader. Oh, and we might go up to the tippy top to show you guys. And this water's deep, as you can tell. And there's like all kinds of water. I mean, I think I might have jumped off this thing. And it's really cool to jump off, like sometimes it's not. And you can tell right there is where you jump off. And I'll let you guys have a clear view. And you can see everybody today, and it's not crowded like it normally is, but it really ain't crowded normally.
It said no spitting on the sign. No spitting. Reading is important.
I didn't see. I thought that meant you
I was your age once too. I had to spit on everything. Let's see if we see any fish.
Mhm. And as you guys can tell, there's like a boat coming over there. So you can like see all the people over there. And
you got anything nice in your pockets?
I have nothing in my pockets.
You want to jump? That'd be a pretty cool video.
You sure?
Nah, you'd be cold.
And so there's all the people over there going around. And people do jump off this thing a lot. And whatever that white thing is, it's like really cool and all that stuff. And well, I just remembered.
Kid, you're filming yourself, breaking the rules.
Okay.
That's not. I'm so glad I'm a Gen Xer.
Edit it out. I forgot.
Edit it out? I can't. It's Eli Vision. I got to show it completely uncut.
Oh, and well, guys, as you can see right here, like you are not allowed to fish here because it's a park. I mean, you might be able to fish off from the park that connects here, but you can't fish here the guy, I know some of you want to fish here, but you can't. And so all around here, and like right through there, you go and yeah. So, oh, I about fell off. And that would not have been nice if I fell off, but I knew you guys would like it, but I wouldn't have. Okay, now guys, like, here's all the elephant stuff, and you can like buy from here. And there's a lot of nice cups over here. And yeah. And there's like a black gloom, like the, and it's really cool, like, it's really, really cool. And so, yeah. Okay, it's recording.
Hi, how are you today? This is Wakulla Springs, the longest soda bar in the United States. We have ice cream, we have specialty sodas. If you take a look around, we have all different kind of souvenirs from our creature from the Black Lagoon.
Ask her how long she's worked here and if she's the boss.
How long have you worked here and are you the boss?
I am not the boss. This lady over here is the boss. And this is a fine lead right here, Mr. Colby. And I've only worked here for about 4 months, but I've lived in the area my whole life. And do you know what Wakulla stands for at the Wakulla Springs?
No.
It stands for Mysterious Waters.
Wow.
And that's how the creature of the Black Lagoon was coming out, because it's mysterious waters, and it was filmed right over here. So when you take your boat ride, your captain will tell you all about it. You'll see alligators, and you'll see manatees. You'll see a black turtle called a cooter turtle, and they're very popular in our Panhandle area. They're not extinct, so we have a lot of them, and they come up and lay their eggs, and our little birds take care of our little eggs sometimes, and sometimes they'll go back into the river and have a good day. And let me think what else to tell you. There's a lot of Indians that has cohabited this area. Back in the day, this was all Indians and teepees, and this was the coldest, deepest area where they all came and drink the water from this hole. There were teepees. We had an Apache Indian, and we had the Seminole Indians. Not Apache, they're called Apache Indians. And that's all I have to say. And you have a wonderful day.
Okay, so what's up, day YouTube? No, never mind. And so, oh look, there's a little puppy. I'm gonna pet it.
There's a puppy.
Yeah, you guys want to meet the puppy? I'm gonna pet the pup. Can I pet the puppy? Hey, little one.
She might jump on you. Yeah, she just loves attention.
Hi. Thanks.
Of course.
So that was a puppy, and his name is Molly. So yeah, 2 minutes is not gonna be that long. And so yeah, so the, I hope they don't mind the pup. Cute little pup. What's the name of him?
Alright, let's rope.
Run, boy, run. Have you ever had to run before?
Me? No.
Like,
What?
is
Like
it?
from some...
Okay, now
What's
it's,
up, pup?
now it's
How's
filming.
it going? How's it going?
Oh,
sorry.
goodness, Molly. Sorry.
No,
You
it's
can't
good.
jump.
What's
She just wants to hang out with you guys.
He just wants to be famous, right?
I've already got him on YouTube.
Come
on.
It is filming, right?
Huh?
It's filming, right? Is it
Filming?
Yeah.
Yeah, your battery's
Okay.
about dead. You're crooked, though. Make sure it's square on you.
Is that bad? It's crooked.
Well, yeah. It's giving
Wait,
you
I
crooked
mean,
vision, not
the
Eli
battery's about dead?
vision. Yeah, we're going to change batteries here in a minute.
Can we change it like going on? Hey, we gotta go back in here and get
No, we
them.
don't. Anna's right there.
Can we change it before we get on the boat?
We're gonna do it right now.
Okay, take it off.
Take it off. Gotta turn it off first.
Okay, so right now we're heading down there to the boat. And trust me, we're gonna see a lot of alligators. And I might talk some on the boat, but who knows? And well, and that dog was cute. Okay, so you're not, so yeah. We're like gonna go on the boat.
No, okay.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go on the boat. Like, we had to run to the car and get some stuff. And yeah, so I'll catch you guys when we get on the boat. If it tells us any rules, I will film it. Hey, she's out here.
That lady's funny hat. You see it? She got a little witch's hat on there.
It's on? Recording?
Yeah, look at the witch's hat. You see it? Her hat said boo. You see it?
Ask her about her Nimbus 2000.
Is it recording?
Yep.
Look at her hair bows. Did you see it? She got her Halloween clothes on.
Oh, they use Tahatsus.
Hopefully we'll get to see. No, not right here. We'll go ride the boat first.
Yeah, little man.
This boat is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you can get. That's all about the horse and jump. It is, exactly. Oh, yeah? The old boat.
So, you can tell, and this is the boat we're getting on. Like, I might get a front seat, but we can get anything we want because, yeah.
Aboard, everybody.
And so we're filming.
That's your GoPro?
Yeah,
All right.
not mine. Sit right here.
Go back there with your mom.
Bob, that turned out to be just the best place in the world. Summer or winter. You've heard of a mountain full of group. Maybe I'll join you.
I'll sit with you.
Join me if you want. People come, yeah.
It better be filming.
Let me see. Yeah, you're
Out there. You know what it is? Yeah.
Should I stop filming till we see our first alligator?
do your thing, man. I got all the batteries you need.
Can everybody hear me okay back here?
Yeah.
For those of you who've been here before, you may have noticed that these are boats that you probably don't recognize. They actually bring all brand new boats in here to the park. Our vintage boats, they pulled out of the water about 6 months ago, and we're slowly trying to get them where we can get them actually renovated and back on the water again. But in the meantime, we've got these brand new boats. And they kind of messed with us because those two you drive from the back like our old boats, and this one they gave us, I drive it from the front. So I typically drive it backwards. I'll be talking like this to you while I'm driving that direction. So don't be alarmed if it looks like I'm not paying attention where I'm going, because I've been out on this river on these boat tours probably about 2,500 times. So I could probably do this tour route in my sleep, but it is nice to be able to have a face-to-face conversation with my boat guests. Well, for those of you who have not been here before, as we're backing out of the dock here, if you look through the dock, you'll see at the other end of our beach down there, that two-story tower that the kids are sitting on up there. Well, 125 feet below that, underwater, is where the actual spring is located. This is the largest and deepest freshwater spring in the world. So this river that we're getting ready to go down on right now is completely sourced by spring water. There's no other streams or rivers that come into the Wakulla River. It's all what comes out of that cave opening on an hourly basis. Now, we haven't had much rain lately, but right now the spring is still pushing out about 500,000 gallons a minute out of that cave opening. And so what it does, it creates this river which is about 100 yards wide, and you can see it's got a pretty good current. It runs about, probably 3 to 4 miles an hour, 24 hours a day, just from that spring water coming out. Now, a lot of times people kind of have a hard time visualizing how much water is 500,000 gallons a minute. Well, if you've ever seen an Olympic-sized swimming pool, our spring here can actually fill an Olympic-sized pool every 45 seconds. So it gives you an idea of how much water is coming out of that cave opening on an hourly basis. About 75 million gallons an hour comes out of that spring opening. Or you see what? No, it's 125. Yeah, it's underneath the water. So it comes out on 125 feet down. It comes to the surface and then it ends up heading down the
It's on the
river.
water in a second. I think.
Yep.
Every night we get resident spiders that come in here.
Bird.
Here's a cool bird on the right-hand side. It's called an American white ibis.
Where at?
Now the water that comes out of the spring is actually pretty cold. It's 69 degrees year-round. It never changes. So that cold water actually affects two different kinds of animals that we have on the river that are cold-blooded. That would be our turtles and our alligators. So on a day like today when the water's cool and the air is nice and warm, it's going to push a lot of those animals out of the river. So we're definitely going to see a lot of turtles and gators, as well as all the bird life and other things that we'll see on the river here. Believe it or not, on the winter tours that we do, the water is actually warmer than the air, so the gators have a tendency to stay in the water. But this time of the year, they like to climb out and get up on shore, so we'll definitely see a lot during the course of the tour today. Outside the park boundary. Yeah, we have 3 miles of the Wakulla River inside the park, completely closed to the public. But then it goes past the boundary and it goes out to the open part of the Wakulla River, and it's open out there for boating and fishing outside the park boundary. It's exactly like this all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah. Look on the left over there. See that bird sitting right on the left-hand side? We got a beautiful great blue heron sitting right there on the left-hand side of the, standing right on the edge of the river. You see those big turtles that are sitting on the log over there?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, those are called Sewanee cooters. They're the largest turtles that we have in the park here. Yeah, they're sitting on that log. They're definitely the biggest turtles that we have in the park here. Let's see if we got any little... Here's a couple of cool animals over here. This bird that we got over here with its wings. Oh, there's our first gator of the day. Look at that little baby. Look at that little baby gator hanging out right there. Oh, trust me, we're going to see a lot bigger ones than that during the course of the tour. We leave that tree. That tree actually blew down in the water quite a few years ago during Hurricane Michael. And we like to leave them in the water. It gives these animals a place to kind of hang out. And then that bird you see there with the wings spread out, that's a male anhinga. And that's a bird that actually feeds off the bottom of the river. So the reason that he's got his wings all
There's
spread
an alligator,
out,
guys.
dry his feathers out. Just like a cormorant, yep. Actually, this one right here, this is a double-crested cormorant. Does the exact same thing. They both swim underneath the water. They can hold their breath a long time. Now, there's something here that I don't normally get to talk about this time of the year because they're not supposed to be here. Look over in the shallow water. We got 3 baby manatees laying over here in the bottom of the river. See them about 50 feet to our left? They're laying right there in the shallow. Those big gray things there.
Yeah, right there now.
Yep.
Alligator!
Those are 3 juvenile manatees.
I see an alligator.
We don't normally have manatees here in October. Oh, they just came up for a little breath of air. See?
There's an alligator!
Normally our manatees are gone until about Halloween. They don't come back in usually until the beginning of November. But we've had a group this year of about 6 to 8 that have been hanging out in the river all summer.
That looks like a gator.
And so we've been able to
It is
usually
a
apologize because they're not supposed to be here.
Oh, I see the
But this year we've been able to actually have manatees.
Oh, they came up and
Oh, we're
just...
gonna see a bunch of alligators. Yeah, there's one.
Oh, they're right there.
Right at us.
That is an alligator.
The manatees are, see the gray things right in the water there? They're about 50 feet to our left. Well, see, I have polarized glasses on. They're gray though. They're underneath the water. Just keep watching. About 50, 60 feet to our left at the bottom of the river there. Just to the right of that tree stump. You look underwater there, you see those 3 big gray things laying at the bottom of the... Yep, those are the 3 manatees down there. Yeah, I can't get the boat over there. That water's only about 12 inches deep. I could get it there, but I wouldn't be able to get it back off the sandbar again. If you keep watching, though, they're spinning right towards us. There's one of them turning right towards us. One of the big adults is turning right towards us right now. Yeah. So typically on these summer boat tours, people come out here asking to see manatees, and we don't normally get to see them, but this year we've been really lucky. They've been around all summer. And we're not even quite sure why they're here. We think that the water in the Gulf of Mexico has gotten so hot that they prefer to be up here in the cool water of the river. Plus manatees eat all this grass at the bottom of the river here, and we have a lot of
Garfish!
farm, so
Look, there's a
we've been
garfish.
able to support that group of manatees.
Oh, there's another garfish!
There's 2 more coming right up here. Yep. Yeah, it's hard to see with a little bit of chop in the water, but we've got a mother. Yeah, I wear polarized glasses, so it's easy for me to see them below the surface. But we got 2 more, a mother and a baby right there. They're about 50 feet to our left as well.
Oh, look, there's more fish.
Hopefully we'll see some a little bit closer to the boat as we're coming back up the opposite side.
You heard it, guys.
Now as we continue on down the river, we're going to see probably about 30 to 50 gators today. Anywhere from those little ones, like the one we just saw, up to, we should probably see some 8, 10, 12 footers today. So
You heard them.
trust me, by the end of the boat tour, you're going to be like, really, another alligator? Like, how many can we possibly see in one boat tour? But we've got about 400 in the park here, and we usually see about, probably 10% of them on any given boat tour. So we'll probably see about 30 to 50 gators during the boat tour. Our park, the Wakulla Springs State Park, consists of about 6,000 acres. And so we've got some beautiful trees here in the park. Probably the most interesting trees are the ones that are growing out here in the middle of the river. These are called bald cypress trees. Yeah, you gotta stay back away from the front there. There you go. So these bald cypress trees are really unusual because they grow completely submerged in the river water. If you look at the base of a lot of these trees, you see how big the base of the tree is. That's because they actually grow in the water and they broaden out their base to make them a lot more stable. Some of these cypress trees are between 250 and 300 years old. And they've been standing out here in the middle of the river for all these centuries of hurricanes that we get up here. So it's actually gotten to where these trees are really, really good about standing, even in high wind situations. They can stand out here through hurricanes and high wind events like that. They're still standing up here for us to be able to enjoy today. So the two birds I was talking about earlier that swim under the water, one of them is these double-crested cormorants and then the other one's the anhinga. What they do is they take a deep breath and they go all the way to the bottom, searching through that grass down there, looking for little crayfish and little snails, minnows, and things like that. So you'll see a lot of them. You'll see a lot of them up on trees and branches with their wings spread out, trying to dry their feathers off. Otherwise, it's real difficult for them to be able to fly. There's a little gator right there on the left. See him looking right at us. Yeah, we want to see some big ones though. We don't like to keep seeing these little ones.
I need to see it.
We'll see some big ones this weekend as we continue on down the river here. There's another gator coming up. Well, I was talking about him. He went underwater just as I was talking about him. You know, the gators are cold-blooded, so they don't like to spend a lot of time in the water. It's a little too cool for them, so a lot of times we'll see them laying up on they'll be laying up on the beach or laying up on a log trying to absorb the sun.
Is that a snake?
Here's a cool little bird. You'll see a lot of these. That little blackbird with the candy corn looking beak there, it's called a common moorhen. And they're not migratory. It won't be, probably by the end of this month, our migratory birds will start coming into the park, but those are not migratory. They live here year round. If you've been here before, you may notice that the water clarity is really good right now. This is probably the clearest the water's been in quite some time. So it's nice to be able to see things below the boat. This area that you see on the right-hand side here, we call it the Wakulla roller coaster, but that's actually our boat maintenance area. So we have a special trolley that we can lower down into the river. That's our work pontoon boat. We drive these tour boats right up on that trolley and we pull them out of the water for service. So we get them out of the water, work on the engines, be able to work on keeping them power washed, keep them clean. The boats that we just took out of the water, our old vintage boats, they had been run 365 days a year for 60 years. And so you can imagine the amount of wear and tear that they had on them, but they still ran great. We're hoping to get them renovated and get back in the water again.
Wow.
We do run these boat tours out here 365 days a year. The only thing that keeps us off the river is lightning. If we have lightning
Look,
storms in
did
the
you see
summer,
that?
we have to
That
postpone
fish went
the,
like that, real
these boats
fast.
are all made out of aluminum. We're like floating
Look,
lightning
guys, there's a
rods out
bird
here.
right there.
We
See
definitely don't
that?
want to be on the water when there's lightning within 5 miles of the park.
You heard them. That's true. There is another
Oh,
bird.
there's one. Yeah, we saw one hiding out in the weeds on the left-hand side.
What is it? Alligator?
Yep. You're going to notice that this side of the river is starting to go into the shade. So what ends up
Look,
happening
see?
this time of the day is
They're flying.
a lot of our gators are going to go to the opposite side. And we'll see them on the return trip up the river. They like to move, yeah, they go to the sunny side of the river in the afternoon. So, although the air temperature is pretty warm, we'll get some that'll still hang out in the shade, but they like to move to the opposite side there and kind of get back in the shade again.
alligator, look. That's a big one.
As we continue on down the river, if you look through the trees on the right side of the boat here, you're going to notice that there's an elevated meadow sitting up there behind the trees. And many years ago, they identified that meadow as a possible village site for some of the Native American tribes that have lived on the river here. And we brought in some archaeologists, and they went up there, they dug some test pits up in there, and sure enough, they ended up finding hundreds and hundreds of artifacts up there from about 12 to 15,000 years ago. Of about 6 different varieties of Native American tribes that have been living on this river. The Appalachians were here for a couple thousand years. The Creek Indians were here for quite a while. The Seminoles were here for quite a while. That gives you an idea of how old and ancient this river is, that we've had civilizations living here as far back as 15,000 years ago. Got a couple of big lazy gators laying over here on the side of the river. They're getting bigger. They're getting bigger now. The farther we go down the river, the bigger they get. That's probably a couple of females, because typically male alligators will never lay that close to each other. Male alligators are very territorial,
one right there.
And so that's probably a couple of females. Breeding season and the nesting season is over, so they're more than happy to kind of share those little beach areas with each other. Now, believe it or not, this little patch of grass right here, that's just actually floating, but it's still thick enough for them to be able to hold the weight of those birds. So we got a white ibis there and a cormorant, and then a couple of those little moorhens that are sitting up there. But pretty soon our wood ducks and things like that will be coming in for the winter, and mergansers. Oh, we got a big old boy over here laying in the mud.
That's a big one.
When they start getting that big, the females don't get that big. That's probably
look, guys,
9-10 feet. And
look at that one,
females
9-10 feet a bit.
6 to 8
That's
feet.
big one.
Top out about 8 to 14 feet.
There's a bass.
One of our big male gators laying up there.
Oh, look at the bass.
I know. And yes, these are real alligators. They're not. During the week, we do a lot of boat tours with school kids, and it takes me half the boat tour to convince them that these are real alligators. They think they're little plastic gators that we put on the side of the river, and I'm like, no, this is not Disney. This is a real state park with real alligators. A couple of weeks ago, I had a bunch of 4th graders out here. I told one of the 10-year-old boys, I'm like, I'll pull the boat over there. You can jump off and poke it and see if it's plastic or not. And he's like, nah. He goes, I'm good. He goes, I'll take your word for it. That's right. Here's another one. And another big old Shawnee cooter hanging out on the log there.
Oh, yeah, that's not too. Well, guys, you can see it over there. Ain't that? Oh, well, never mind. It is big.
Yeah, you see its head popping out of the water there.
Oh, there's 2 of them.
Now I'm going to be aiming for this channel up here on the left-hand side. And as I get ready to pull in there, take a minute to look to the right and look down river. We still have 2 more miles of river inside the park that we don't get to go down into. That's our sanctuary down there. And the water does actually get pretty shallow down there. But 2 times a year, once in the winter and once in the summer, our park biologists will go down there in a canoe with a ranger specifically to do a wildlife survey. And those are the only 2 days a year that humans are allowed on that 2-mile section of river. So what you're basically looking at downriver there is the last 2 miles of completely untouched river in the entire state of Florida. And we're lucky enough to have it here at Wakulla Springs. So we take the conservation of that piece of river there pretty seriously. Every spring we get thousands of birds that come in, and they use that 2-mile stretch there to make their nest and raise their chicks. So it really is a pretty important body of water. It doesn't exist anywhere else in the state of Florida but here.
You all have those special birds right now, the ones that begin with the L. Do you have the birds here that were the name of the river?
The limpkin?
Yes.
We very rarely see them here. Limpkin's main food source are apple snails, and our apple snail population has really kind of decreased over the years. Once in a great while, we'll see one on the edge of the river, but when we do see a limpkin here, it
Baby
really
alligator.
is, we don't see them as often as we used to.
Baby alligator.
But yeah, limpkin is actually, they have a very eerie call. It sounds like, it's called, Wakulla actually translate as River of the Crying Bird, and the crying bird that they're referring to are the limpkin. Got a couple of cormorants hanging out on the stump over here. The The river actually is very. I've been gone for 2 weeks. I went out west on vacation, and I come back, and the river level has gone down quite a bit. So I really got to keep the boat right in the middle of the channel here. I am actually driving this boat. It's not on rails, so I got to be careful where I put it to make sure I don't hit the bottom of the river here. It's pretty. Yeah, these guys here, these are called yellow belly sliders. And look at, they don't even jump in the water. This boat is like 10,000 times the size of a turtle. They're not scared of these tour boats at all.
Little bitty baby.
Exactly.
See, they're all right there.
Now I'm going to go really slow here. If you look through these trees on the left-hand side, you'll see a pile of debris left inside that little island there. And if you look real close, you see some leftover eggshells. That's actually an active alligator nest there. Yep, that little pile of debris. And the mother's usually around here somewhere. All those little eggs started hatching about, probably a month ago. And she's probably, the female's probably laying in the weeds there. But we have about 5 or 6 different female gators that make their nest here every year. So keep your eyes open. There's a good chance we'll see some little baby gators inside this channel as we continue up the river. Here's a beautiful bird coming up here on the left. Probably the prettiest one that we have in the park. It's called a little blue heron. Got that deep blue feathers and a black and blue beak. Well, this is a little blue. We also have great blues here. Completely different species, 2 different species. But we do have great blue herons here as well. But you can see how shallow the river is. We're only running in about 3 feet of water right now.
Are these motors on this boat jet drive?
No, these are outboards. Yeah, so the other 2 boats that we just got delivered, they have big 115 Suzukis on them.
Yeah.
And we got to keep them trimmed up coming through this channel, because otherwise we'll suck all this eelgrass up into the motor. So these are not sitting quite as deep in the water as the new boats.
Oh, look,
But no, they're regular prop motors, and all of our boats all have prop guards on them. In case the manatees get too close, we don't have to worry about bumping into them.
look, that bird's going underwater, up and down.
That's really interesting, the way that the female gators, they make their nest. They like to nest in this island out here because it keeps the armadillos and the raccoons from sneaking out there and stealing the eggs out of the nest. So the female will make a big pile like the one we saw back there, and then she digs a hole in the middle of it, and then she lays about 40 to 60 eggs in there. And it takes about 60 days for the eggs to incubate. And what ends up happening is all that vegetation that she makes the nest out of, it starts to break down like a compost pile, and it creates its own heat. And it actually, that's the heat that incubates the alligator eggs. Now if we get a hot summer like we did this year, and the inside temperature of that alligator nest gets to be 94 degrees or hotter, all the baby gators will come out as males. And if it doesn't reach 94 degrees, they all come out as females. But you'll never get a nest of mixed sex gators. They're either going to be all males or all females based on the internal temperature of the nest. And the female has no control over that. It's all based on the heat of the day. She'll just guard the nest for 60 days, and then the eggs start to hatch. And then she just surprises anybody. If she gets a whole nest full of male gators or female gators, depends on what the temperature inside that nest was during the incubation process.
Oh, look, that fish is chasing bait.
Mullet.
A little gator hanging out in the weeds right here. You know, people think that these alligators are really aggressive, but the fact of the matter is alligators are notoriously lazy. When they find a sunny spot on a beach or a log, or someplace on the edge of the river like that, they're just going to hang out like that. And yep, that one there's probably about 4 years old. When they're tiny, oh, there's a smaller one. That one's only about 2 years old. When they're little like that, they grow about a foot a year until they get to be about 5 feet long.
Look how little that one is. So,
That's a little.
oh, look, there's been a big one going in
Looks like
there.
we got another little baby laying right in the mud up there on the edge of the river. Yeah, we'll keep our eyes out here because we've got 3 or 4 females that make their nest. We have a female that makes her nest every year in those tall reeds. So these are probably some of her babies from last year. We haven't seen many of the new ones yet. Baby gators, when they first come out of the egg, they're only about 6 inches long. And the females like to hide them in the weeds there because there's a lot of predators out here that'll go after those baby gators. Believe it or not, great blue herons are the biggest predator of baby alligators here in the river. Those great blue herons normally eat fish and turtles and little frogs. But they'll definitely snap up a couple of those baby gators if they get a chance to. So the females definitely got to pay attention to protecting the babies when they're first born.
These mullet are running like crazy.
You see them all? Yeah, we have. I wish I had a throat net. I could make it. I could have a fish fry pretty much every day here. But actually, everything. We've got mullet, which is probably the dominant fish here, but we've got largemouth and smallmouth bass here.
I saw one.
We've got spotted gar, which you see a fish with a real long nose on it. This is spotted gar. Up in the main spring, we have some massive catfish that live up in the main spring at about 80 feet. They're about 4 or 5 feet. They're huge. But everything here in the park is protected, so they never have to worry about getting fished out here. And mullet are actually very weird fish. They're the only fish that can live in salt water or fresh water. They have a little gizzard in their body that helps them process food.
Look at that.
Look right here on the left. There's 2 manatees about 20 feet to the left of the boat. These are a lot closer than. Oh, there's 3 of them. There's 2 adults right here, and a baby just popped its nose out of the water. Actually, there's 4 of them. You gotta look real close. You can see. Yep. They're a lot closer than the other ones.
Is it that white thing?
Yeah, it's that great thing right there.
They're gonna come up about. The adults have to come up about every 3 to 5 minutes for a breath. The babies come up. Up here. Here's a big one. There's a big female. See her?
Holy cow.
Watch the babies right behind her. It's kind of hanging out with her there. Here, look, the mother just popped its nose out, and then usually the baby will pop its nose out right afterwards. That big female, she weighs about 1,500 pounds, and she has to eat about 10% of her body weight every day in this grass at the bottom of the river. Here comes the baby. The baby's going to stick its nose out. It just stuck its nose out of the water there. And so the manatees are constantly swimming up and down the river here looking for the next best patch of grass to eat.
Is there any certain type of grass?
They eat this eel grass, the real long stringy stuff at the bottom here. They'll eat that, and if there's a lot of it, what they'll do is they'll get, here's a big female. Whoa, that one just lifted his head right out of the water. We got another one, another juvenile right here. Well, you almost ate your Lucky Charms this morning. We don't never see this many manatees in the middle of the early fall like this. A lot of times what will happen is if we have a lot of grass like we do in the river here, the manatees start getting fussy and they'll pull the grass out and they just munch the roots off, and then the rest of it just floats down the river. And but if the grass starts to get a little bit less available, they'll eat the whole thing. They'll eat even the stringy part of the grass as well. Yeah, we got a little gator swimming up. It just went underwater. Now these little baby manatees, they're a lot like salmon. You can see them swimming under the water there. See? It's gonna pop back up again.
Alligator! Look, there's an alligator
They're
right
like
there.
salmon. They come back to the same river where they're born every year. So every year now our population is getting bigger. We're starting to get 2nd and 3rd generation manatees coming in.
Still recording?
And actually last year on Christmas Day we set a new record here at the park. We had 56 manatees up by the dive tower there. Because they, as big as they are, they actually they come in here in the winter time because as big as they are susceptible to hypothermia. So when the water in the Gulf of Mexico gets to be below 65 degrees, they have to come up into these rivers to stay warm for the winter. So every year we get a huge group of them that come up and spend the whole winter here. And like I said, doesn't know why they're here in the middle of summer. We're thinking that we have such a good availability of food here that they just decided to spend the summer here. It is, and we love it.
Alligator!
6-month period, we don't even get to talk about them because they're not here. But this year we've been seeing them ever since the beginning of the summer. They've been here. So it's been nice to have them. They come right up to the boat. As a matter of fact, a lot of times they'll come up, the big females will flip on their back and they scratch their belly on the bottom of the boat.
Alligator.
Not a plastic one.
Do these gators eat these birds?
They eat everything but the manatee. Believe it or not, you saw how big that female manatee was? She can actually kill an alligator with her tail. And the alligators know that, so they don't mess with the manatees. But the gators will eat birds, turtles, fish, raccoons, possums, white-tailed deer, each other. Yeah. Rangers in uniform. They're not particularly fussy when it comes to eating stuff. But yeah, they're the only animal we have here in the river that'll actually eat each other. But there's pretty much everything for them is on the menu.
Holy cow! Look, viewers.
There has been times when I've been doing boat tours, and I'm like, oh, look at this beautiful little bird over here. And all of a sudden, this big mouse just comes up and grabs it. And it usually freaks the kids out on the boats quite a bit. Well, you know, the gators got to make a living too, and that's how they, it's all part of the circle of life out here. That's right. I know it's tough to do gator tours out here where we have the Seminoles just up the road. They're not big fans of the gators, but
Bird flying, viewers.
you see all these beautiful, when it's breezy like this, you get to see all the nice Spanish moss growing on these cypress trees here. And that Spanish moss doesn't do anything, it doesn't harm the tree at all. It actually, the healthier the tree is, the healthier the Spanish moss is. There's a little manatee right here. Right
Manatee,
there,
manatee.
about 15 feet to the left there, hanging out of the
Where was the creature of the black lagoon?
I can't tell you. I can't tell you till I show you.
Oh, I got you.
Where?
My bad.
You're coming right up on it.
Wait till we get to the movie channel and I start to talk about all the cool movies that were done. I don't want to talk about the creature too early because I might scare them away. We still see them out here every now and then.
Oh, what's that? Oh, that's not a fish.
I'll tell you, it really is nice when the water clarity.
The battery has to be getting low.
Oh, look at we got jumping mullets jumping.
Oh, they're jumping!
These wacky mullets.
I done missed it.
Here, let me see the battery. Up, you're good.
What's it at?
90.
Oh.
You got the extended battery.
Now we're working our way into this second channel here.
This is where
what
the
we
black
call the back
lagoon.
jungle. And you'll see why when we come around the corner up here. The canopy of the trees will start to close in over top
What's
of
a
the
big
river.
mullet?
It creates a little bit of a tunnel for us to drive through. But we also call this
Oh,
the
look
movie
at all them
channel, because
mullets.
This is the part of the Wakulla River where all the Hollywood movies were made back in the 1940s and 50s. Back in the 30s, when Ed Ball first bought all this property, he built a lodge up there by the spring. And the guy that he hired to manage the lodge for him had a lot of connections out in Hollywood. He knew a lot of directors and producers.
Oh, that's a
He
big
started
group.
working here in the late 1930s, early 1940s. He invited all these Hollywood executives to come here to the river and check it out if they needed any kind of a jungle backdrop to shoot a movie. So they came here in the early 40s. They brought him out on a boat. They showed him this section of the river right in front of us here. And these
I
Hollywood
like this. It's shady and there's a lot of
They ended
alligators.
up coming back in the mid-40s. They brought Johnny Weissmuller and Marino Sullivan and their cast and crew with them. This is the section of the river right here where they filmed the first two of the series of Tarzan movies in the mid-1940s. They did Tarzan's Secret Treasure and Tarzan's New York Adventure were both filmed right in this section of the river. And the way they were able to do it, as we get up into this part of the channel here, they put temporary platforms on all these cypress trees on both sides of the river, and then they strung ropes from side to side, and then the film crew came out here. They were able to film all the action footage of Tarzan swinging from tree to tree. You can see how it's getting more and more jungle-like as we get farther up here. And the water is so clear, they were able to do a lot of the underwater Tarzan footage underneath as well. So it became real popular to make those movies back then. Matter of fact, the movie company loved it because they were able to make those jungle movies, and they didn't have to spend the money to drag everybody over to Africa or down to South America looking for a jungle setting. They could do it right here in North Florida. And they had the lodge to be able to put people up.
I want to see an alligator in here.
Now, those Tarzan movies did really well at the box office. A lot of people out west saw them. So these producers and directors out there, they wanted to find out where they were filmed so they could come mid-19th. Hey, kids, I need to have you come back a little bit from the front of the boat here. The boat doesn't stop very quickly. This little S-turn that we're driving through right here, this is where the most iconic horror movie of the 1950s was filmed. The one you were asking about, this is where they filmed The Creature from the Black Lagoon. As a matter of fact, a lot of it they did right up in this little channel on the right-hand side here. And it looked quite a bit different back in the 50s. That was almost 70 years ago. I mean, it looked very similar, but it was a little bit deeper back there. But they did a lot of the underwater footage of the Creature movie here, as well as up in the main spring. They did a lot of the underwater footage up there. But there was actually 3 Creature movies that they made. The first one and the third one were done here at Wakulla Springs. The second Creature movie, Creature's Revenge, that was actually done down in Silver Springs. We think the Creature like Wakulla Springs better because we still see them lounging around here sometimes in the sun.
Oh, look, there's a bird in the tree.
We'll see him laying on a log up on the edge of the river, soaking up the sun.
There's a bird in the tree.
Creature's about 80 years old now. He's not much of a threat to humans anymore. So we're happy to have him spend his retirement here.
Look, bird on the water.
Actually, a bunch of us rangers, we've been trying to talk him into going into creature-assisted living, and he has no interest in that. He wants to spend his retirement out here on the river. We're happy to have him here.
I want to see him. Man, it's a man dressed up though. He's just dressed up.
Back in the 1950s, they didn't have technology back then like we do now for a special effect and things like that. They actually made the Creature costume out of foam rubber. And the first day they started shooting out here on the river, they put the actor in the
Look,
costume
baby bass.
and they put him in the river, and they found out he floated on the surface with a fishing bobber. And so they had to strap 80 pounds of lead weight to him to get him to the bottom of the river for some of the underwater footage. Well, at the end of the first day of filming, the lead actor ended up quitting the movie because he wasn't real happy with being stuck on the bottom of a river full of alligators. So it kind of left the director in a little bit of a pinch. He didn't have any way to finish the movie. Well, it was a kid that was working here on the beach, a lifeguard named Rico Browning. He was a Florida State grad. He was just working here in the summer. There's a little gator right there.
Oh, sorry.
And they ended up tapping him to come out here and help the director finish the movie. So he was born in the area, he wasn't all that afraid of the alligators. So he ended up putting the Creature suit on, helped the director finish the movie. Did such a good job of it. When they came back a year later to shoot the sequel, they hired him again. And Rico Browning ended up falling in love with the whole Hollywood scene. So when they were done shooting the movies here in the 50s, he actually moved to the West Coast out to Hollywood, became a producer in his own right. Actually, you remember television show in the 1960s called Flipper? Well, actually Rico Browning was the producer of that television show. He did Sea Hunt back in the 1960s. And he went on to have a very long career of making those kind of water and underwater based movies. Just from being here as a lifeguard at the beach, next thing you know, he's a big wig out in Hollywood making television shows and TV movies, just being in the right place at the right time.
That's exactly what you said.
That was his claim to fame. He went on for 50 years doing conventions and stuff as the lead actor for The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now for most of the river tour, we've been able to see the bottom of the river. It's only been about 5 to 8 feet deep. Now we're coming into this area right in front of us. This is what we call the spring bowl. And this area is about 4 acres. And this is where the actual spring water comes out of the ground. It comes out of the ground right underneath the dive tower over there. So you're going to watch the bottom of the river. It's going to drop out below us. It's going to go down to about 60 feet deep on this side. And when I swing the boat over there by the dive tower, it's going to drop down to 125 feet deep. And that's where the cave opening is located. So all that 500,000 gallons a minute comes out of the cave opening and swirls around here in the spring bowl. And it comes to the surface. And then it goes straight south for 9 miles to the Gulf of Mexico. It's actually a very, very short river. But you notice now you can barely, well, you can still see the bottom here. We got about 45 feet deep here. But the closer I get to the dive tower, you won't be able to see the bottom anymore. It's going to go down to 125 feet deep. We have scientific divers that dive in the cave opening. We can't allow recreational. There's so much water coming out, you can't swim against it, so they have to go in with electric scooters, pulls them in. And since the mid-90s, they've been diving in this cave system, and they've mapped out about 12.5 miles of the underwater cave system that Now they thought that they had seen all of it, but then they come to find out that they only saw a tenth of it. If you were to swim into the opening of the cave here and wanted to swim to the other end of the cave, you'd have to swim for 115 miles to get to the other end of the cave. So not only is this the biggest spring in the world, this is the exit of the largest underwater limestone cave system in the world. So it's a pretty serious bragging rights here at Wakulla Springs. All the cool movies that were made here, the largest spring, it's the largest underwater limestone cave system. It's the only state park that has a lodge on the property. Most of the other state parks have campgrounds. Now you get a good chance to see the lodge from here. That was built back in the early 30s by Ed Ball when he bought this property. And believe it or not, he built that as a private home when he built it in the 30s. It's got 27 bedrooms, it's got a full-service restaurant, a full-service ice cream parlor, and he kept it private for about 20 years. Finally, in the 1950s, enough people started begging him to come stay here as paying guests. He finally opened it up as a lodge in the 1950s. But he kept it private for about 20 years just for his family and friends here. And way back, the rooms run about $139 to $189 a night. It's not horrible, not for being able to be inside the state park here. Now, way back when television was first invented, Ed Ball decided he didn't want any televisions in any of the guest rooms at his lodge. So we took this property over in 1986 as a state park. The Park Service decided that they were going to honor his wishes. So to this day, we have no televisions in any of the guest rooms here at the lodge. We want people to come here, stay as a guest, kind of enjoy Mother Nature, recharge a little bit. So we left the lodge just the way it was back in the 1930s. Except the mattresses. We have changed the mattresses. Nobody wants to sleep in a 90-year-old mattress, but other than that, it's exactly the same as it was back then. The what?
The bugs that are...
Oh, they're not out. They're real hit or miss. They're called whirligig beetles. And sometimes it depends on the weather. If it's breezy like this, sometimes they go back into the weeds.
in the car?
But if it's really calm, you'll see the little groups of the whirligig beetles kind of swimming around on the surface.
Nope.
But they're not always here every day.
Are you still recording?
Well, folks, it's been great having you out here on the river today. And typically when we come out here on these boat tours,
I might hit a button unless
two things I can guarantee you
went dead.
see every day of the
But
year.
it hasn't.
And that's our alligators and all the great bird life we have out here. The one thing we can never guarantee, because they're just so unpredictable, is the manatees. So the fact that I was able to share about 8 or 10 manatees with you this afternoon in the early October afternoon is pretty amazing for me as a boat captain. So I'm glad I was able to share that really cool trifecta of animals that we have out here on the river. It's definitely a great afternoon to be out here on the river. Now see, our old boats, we used to be able to turn them right into the dock. Now these we gotta adjust them out a little bit, straighten them out, but they still run fine. As we get,
When you say they catch catfish out here, big ones,
they what?
the big catfish.
Yeah, they're up there in the main.
Are they blues or
No, they're channel cats.
channel?
Yeah. Oh, they're huge. You see them when the water's a little bit clearer. Sometimes you'll see them down there at about 60, 65 feet, and they don't look that big because they're so far down, but they're about 4 feet. They're pretty good size. Well, as we come into the dock here, I'm going to ask everybody to grab a seat real quick, because if you think the alligators are dangerous, you should see my parking job here. But I want to thank everybody for coming out and spending time with me this afternoon. It really is an honor to bring you out here and share the wildlife with you and all the cool things in the history of the park. And we appreciate you coming out today, and you got plenty of time to enjoy the rest of the park. But please come back and see us again in the future. We do change the wildlife out daily, so you never know what you're going to see out here. But I appreciate you being here today, and hopefully we'll see you again in the future.
Has the wildlife noticed the difference between these boats and your old boats?
No, believe it or not, this is the only car that's still got a parkway. And because we don't interact with the wildlife law, animals are not realized we don't resolve they only interact with the wildlife.
So that was a good little
Can
thing.
you see yourself? All right, let me show you. See how goofy you look? Hold it up there like that.
Oh,
There you go. Hold it up. Talk to yourself
So
in the
that-
video.
was a really good little thing. It's like really good. So, and well, that was
Hey,
like,
this is no lake.
this was a really
Huh?
good.
Yeah, yeah, I've noticed that.
It was like,
See, like if we're out on a boat tour and we get a lightning strike within the bounds of the park, protocol goes out the window.
Oh yeah, it's
We're literally told turn around wherever you can, and as fast as you can physically go, get back here.
oh yeah, because you're on a vertical lightning rod.
Yeah.
so that was really good. Well, later in the video, we might go fishing. Who knows? I think it will be definitely later in the video. It would be really good. It was really good.
This
Like-
is the highlight. This is great.
Yeah, this is mom and dad
Was-
love this.
Really good.
Oh, this ain't
Yeah, it was really nice. And yeah, this is, you can come anytime you want.
So if you never know what
Don't forget to like, sub, and lock.